Hey, what's up everybody? It's In Man here. Going in round 4 of the ETS up against The Rock, who's playing an interesting variant on Feln. It's a little bit more mid-rangey focus. Got Darien Pioneer, Feln Bloodcaster, Jotun Feast Caller, and not a single Channel Tempest to be found. So, an interesting matchup. This hand's not great. I can only cast one of my cards. If I knew for a fact I was going to draw one more power, it'd be a Snap Keep. But I don't know that. And at the risk of being stuck on 2 power, I decided to redraw. This hand could be worse, could be better. It's in the same spot, though. It needs to draw that power, 1 or 2 power, to really get online. It's actually going to be really embarrassing playing this Awakened Student and never triggering a power on it. Almost as embarrassing as never playing another card this game. But we did win the die roll, which is a great, a big benefit. You know, we had lost quite a number of die rolls so far in the tournament, so good to see that our luck is turning around, if only in one aspect, not necessarily in all. So let's see what we are doing here. So he's got 4 Permafrosts, 2 Lightning Strikes that can deal with this. A Hailstorm coming next turn could also deal with it. Fire's Favor doesn't. That just indicates to me that he's probably a little short on power. Just throwing that out there right away. This is potentially walking right into a Hailstorm, but I don't really have another play, so might as well. As soon as we drop power, we're going to be playing Chancellor Seraph instead of Unseen Commander, just to play around the Hailstorm possibilities. Alright, well, at least we can vanquish that. Get him for 4. I wish it was, 6 or 8 by now, but no empowers to be found. It's 3-drop if he plays a Feln Bloodcaster or a Hailstorm are both pretty bad news for us. Yep, there's the Hailstorm. Well, at least we keep on. We've been able to spend our mana every turn, but I wish we could have just drawn more mana to be able to play higher impact kind of cards. His deck actually has 4 Levitates in it, which is a pretty interesting tech choice. Obviously, it's really good right here. He basically just, killed my guy absolutely for free. Did not cost him a card, which is unusual. Normally, you expect this card to at least 2 for on your opponent, but in that case, I got 2 for 1. Feast Caller. This guy's annoying. Oh, I can't even cast any of these, right? Yeah, he's casting Feast Caller on turn 6, and we can't even cast our 4-drop to answer it. Yeah, I think this is just going to be game over. A Feast Caller unchecked is almost as good as 2 Feast Callers unchecked. Yeah, I'll just go to the next game. Yeah, that was just a case of, a bad redraw. Like a real bad redraw. I mean, we were able to cast... we just top deck 2-drops all day, but obviously I prefer to have been able to play our other cards. So let's delete that one, clone our sideboard, and see what we want. So I definitely want Auric Runehammer. That's going to be insane against him. Something like Venom Rider is not the best. I guess it does deal with Champion of Cunnings and Jotun Feast. Yeah, I'll keep it. Combrei Healer, that's for an aggro matchup. Really a lot of cards in this deck are quite good. Valk Enforcer might be one of the worst ones. Finest Hours probably aren't the most amazing because he has a lot of spot and really his feeding times in Cold Bloods. They don't really care about buffs. Desert Marshal's probably not great. I guess Initiation is also pretty bad. Alright, this seems fine. I'll keep a couple Finest Hours. And Praxis Displacers are good against his Bloodcasters and stuff like that. Alright. Yeah, so hopefully we just, don't draw that poorly. And, you are... overall, Feln is normally a pretty decent matchup for us. In Cold Blood can definitely get us, but generally we're faster and we have Aegis threats to make their interaction a little bit less interactive. But this particular version that we're starting 4 Feln Bloodcasters plus other stuff like that, other earlier interaction, and the 4 Levitates in the main actually seems really well positioned against us. his version definitely sacrifices some of the late game. I guess relying on Feln Bloodcaster for late game, which is tenuous against like the more hardcore control decks. But there's not a lot of hardcore control decks out there right now in the meta, so this is kind of sounding like maybe a broken record, but I've actually really liked the lists of a lot of my opponents today. You know, I think all of them have been slightly different. I guess round one against Armory was not that interesting, but since then, all of my opponents have had pretty interesting lists that I think attack the metagame in a good way. Luckily, we've been able to beat 2 of them since then, but you know, it's not been easy sledding. Not at all. Is it just a minute? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try out this version of Feln. It seems I'm kind of curious about Daring Pioneer. I feel like that's I don't know, the potential to get out tempoed is just so strong with it. Like, you're paying 3 to counter the next spell. Like, what if they just play Seek Power? And you're just like, alright, I guess you deny them a land, but like it still trades 1 for 1, but it's still, you traded 3 mana for 1 mana, which is not really at all what you want to be doing in a control deck. But I guess this is, my opponent's Feln deck is more along the lines of a mid-range deck, less so than a control deck. I mean, no Azendel's Gifts in the main, or in the side actually. Only 2 Black Sky Harbingers as the highest cost card in the deck, kind of topping out around 5 with Champion of Cunning, Jotun Feast Callers. So it's more of a Feln mid-range, although still eschewing Rindra. She's not in the best place in the meta right now. Dies to, you know, a lot of the Vanquishes that are running around without really getting any value. And since you let your opponent redraw an extra card with a Nightfall trigger, it doesn't help things. Let's take a look at his sideboarding one more time, since our opponent's taking their time. We do have the 1 Amber Monument in the sideboard. I generally bring that in and keep it in matchups where we want to go a little bit later, which has been most of the matchups so far today. We haven't faced any aggro deck where we'd want to take it out. Alright, so going second. I got an extra power, but this hand is pretty bad. Let's ship that one back. Well, this might be a repeat of the game 1 if we just never draw another power. But we have 2. And have some 2-drops, and have some very good 3-drops. These 3-drops are particularly good because they don't die to hailstorms. But the fact that I have 2 means that they kind of die to In Cold Blood. So I'm going to try to not play this guy on turn 3, and we're going to try to bait out an In Cold Blood on something else. So I think we're just going to turn 1 Crown Watch, or turn 2 Crown Watch rather. Hopefully draw power, then on turn 3 Awaken Student plus power. Drew Finest Hour, which is fine. Doesn't it helps if he plays like a Bloodcaster here, but I guess Bloodcaster requires double shadow, so he can't cast it until they come out with power that allows you to get double of an influence, which I'm decently confident they'll put in the next set. It's only logical. I don't know if it would just be like double of a single influence and always, you know, always underplay depleted or some other restriction. But yeah, just Awaken Student, depleted power, get you for 2. That's probably gonna just draw 2 with Wisdom. Is Tex only running 3 Wisdom of the Elders? I don't know if I agree with that. Only 3? That card's so good. I guess as you're a mid-range deck, like, you just have other things you want to do on turn 3. Play Daring Pioneer, play Bloodcaster, play a removal spell plus depleted power. I guess. I don't know. I'm not really seeing it. Okay, 2 for 2 my board. Not the end of the world here. Let's see if we can bait out a In Cold Blood on the Record Keeper before we play out the Seraph. If he doesn't In Cold Blood this, then we'll play the Seraph. Not that I really have a choice next turn. I kind of have to because it's my only play remaining. Feeding time. Okay, well, if we draw power, we can hopefully play the Elite. Yeah, play Elite. Much better. Yeah, Levitate. The 4 Levitate in my opponent's main deck is doing a lot of work for him. You know, basically just making my Aegis units not have Aegis for very little opportunity cost of, like, you know, 1 cost to cycle. He definitely would have hit me with a In Cold Blood if he had it here. So let's just attack him for 5. He has a Lightning Strike. Okay, I can beat that. Because I have the Finest Hour. Seven cost, so he's quite flooded here. Yeah, let's just A space here. Finest Hour if we need to. Yep, we do need to. Oh, shoot. Oh, man, that was so bad. I knew he had Lightning Strike. I literally knew that. And I just played right into it. Okay. That was silly of me. Okay. Alright, whatever. Whatever. I should... Yeah, that was just bad. I literally said it the turn before. I definitely misplay. Alright, how do we come back from that, though? Just this play into Venom Rider is a profitable attack. Yeah, let's do it. Probably wants to trade. And unfortunately, a lot of his threats now have Aegis, but if we draw a power, Venom Rider is threatening to kill it, so he kind of needs to deal with this Venom Rider with a Hailstorm or Feeding Time, which means he's out of cards. So I'm just going to start playing threats. Dark Return the Champion. Okay, well I can pop off one of the Aegises here. I think I'd rather just play Seraph, Crown Watch. Here's only this one Dark Return in his list. I guess there's 2 more on the side. I doubt he brought in Dark Returns. Hell, I would have actually probably sided them out in this matchup, but that's just me. So I can attack for 5 here and sack a Seraph. That seems reasonable. He does not have a Lightning Strike. He's probably just full on power here. As long as his next unit that he plays is not an Aegis unit, we can attack for the win here. Hailstorm doesn't do a thing. Okay. Now he drew a Lightning Strike. Oh, okay. So despite the misplay, I'm not playing on Lightning Strike properly, we still were able to pull out the win there. Let's double check our sideboarding, but I think we're just gonna keep the same thing into game 3. Yeah, I don't think we really want the Xena Initiation is the only card I could think of to put back in here. Yeah, I think it's pretty solid. So that was a case of, I think my opponent got a little bit flooded. You know, we were able to fight through 2 champions by just going wide around it, but another removal spell there, another In Cold Blood or Feeding Time or something, could definitely have spelled a big problem for us as we're trying to chump attack into him. Levitate almost proved really strong. Like, he was able to pop off the Aegis and then just couldn't follow it up with the removal spell. He just ended up chumping with, or trading, I guess, with the Champion of Cunning on the Copper Hall Elite. But I do think Levitate has a very good spot in the meta right now as just a free way to pop Aegis. And also, I guess, you can use it for its intended effect. If you want to, you know, get your Jotun Feast color in over some blockers, you can just pop it up in the air and start attacking and start drawing cards. Alright, lost the die roll. This hand, once again, is not very good. We want like a 3-power hand. This hand is quite good, though, for a 2-power hand. It's got a lot of key cards that we want. Crown Watch, Commando, Auric, and Knight Chancellor. Finest Hour, I'm totally happy. I'm totally fine with having just one of them. Drawing any more than that, it starts to get a little bit, you know, too much of a same thing. We don't have enough to cast Unseen Commando, but that's okay. Or Justice Influence, rather, to cast Unseen Commando or Runehammer. But we got a little bit more time to find it. We're going to play Crown Watches into Knight Chancellors. Levitate into Farah's favor. Ugh. Blech. Yeah, that actually shows up like a huge weakness of the deck. It's just like a turn 2 Crown Watch Paladin is normally just like really strong against Feln. But his version with Bloodcasters and Pioneers and Levitates and all that stuff, pretty good against it. Eye of Winter. Not exactly what I was expecting. Let's just play this guy. I want to play it out first in attack to not give away the fact that I have a Finest Hour in hand. So let him just use it. He does have 2 Eye of Winters in the sideboard, along with 2 Lightning Storms. So in addition to the Hailstorms, I should worry about Lightning Storm. So I might not want to play out this extra Crown Watch. I guess Eye of Winter is a good way to just pop Aegises or force me to overcommit to boards, but overcommitting with 4/4s is not really overcommitting. Overcommitting with X3s is. I'd be pretty happy to just slam out this Runehammer next turn, though, if he lets me. Or if I actually, rather, the top of my deck lets me. Because it'll at least get 2 swings in before he could play a Harbinger. And he only has 2 Harbingers in his list, so it may not be good enough. Actually, I'm going to hold it for a Jotun Feastcaller, because he might play that on 5, and I can just get that for value. This is all predicated on drawing exactly Justice Sigil or a Combrei Banner. I think more likely he's just going to stun the Record Keeper, and then I play Crown Watch Paladin for my turn in Ace Base. I think that's the most likely line. Permafrost's that. He stuns the Crown Watch. Okay. Well, I did draw it. Just play Knight Chancellor since it survives the Hailstorm. Hopefully he just has a Feastcaller here. And then we can get him good. We don't have a ton of offense, even if he does that. Even if he plays Feastcaller. Like, if he goes Feastcaller into Black Sky Harbinger, I don't know how I beat that without top decking a Vanquish. And even then, it's sketchy. But he's taking so long, so I'm assuming he doesn't have just like a slam dunk Feastcaller, because Feastcaller is great on this board, right? It looks great because it blocks both my guys. You know, uses mana efficiently, spends it right on time. I don't think there would be this much hesitation if it was just power Feastcaller. I think there's got to be something else at work here. Possibly a Cold Blood or something. Or just unactivate that, that's fine. Still means I can attack him for 2. Yeah, he's stuck on power, okay. Sure. This is probably a Lightning Strike. Let's play Seraph. Lightning Strike would have got it. I could play around Lightning Strike with Unseen Commando plus Finest Hour, but until he proves that he actually has it, like, I think that would have been a good point to use it, because I could have... Finest Hour would not have kept it alive. I think I've telegraphed the Finest Hour quite well. Meaning that he knows I have it, because I have the stop on 1 power here. It's the only card in my deck that could realistically do that. Stand Together is pretty nice. I think I'm going to try to stand together here this turn. Especially if he tries to play something. Save all my guys from a Black Sky as well. I'm not getting a ton of damage in, though. Lightning Strike. Yeah. And got through a couple extra points. Now if he plays Black Sky, like, I can just A-space and... Does that win? Forces a chump at least, right? 5, 9, 10, 12. He goes to 16. Ah, damn, it's 1 damage short. I can Unseen Commando. Unseen Commando and then A-space, and then that'll get him. Sure. Okay with that. So even if he Black Skyed there, we're actually in good shape. That being said, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 7. That's fatal. Okay. Okay then. So we Finest Hour 1. Hit him for 4. Player power. Play the Aura Greenhammer. Bonk. Nice. All right. Feels good, man. Good match.